It's Mira Business FM. Good morning. This is the Morning Drive with me, Tim Elliott, and we're going to be talking real estate in a few moments' time. Don't forget, you could be watching us at mirabusiness.fm on the website, maybe with us on YouTube, or, all those other social media platforms. Who knows where you are, but you're welcome. info@mira.fm is the email address, and then whatsapp.mira.fm. No need of the number. You can contact us directly in the show. Subscribe, let us know how you feel. Give us a thumbs up. That's always appreciated. Very impressive result last night. We'll probably talk about that. We may be talking face furniture. We may also be talking a number of other things. Work sickness. Who knows? Because Mario Volpi is here. He's also good at talking about real estate. Mario, it's a pleasure to see you.
Good morning, Tim. How are you? You good?
Very well, thank you. Slightly better than you, I think. You were out late last night.
Yes, I've only had about 2.5 hours sleep.
Yeah, you look remarkably well, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good cream.
Yeah, it's
creams.
Yeah, good moisturiser and great makeup lady outside.
Oh, I don't want makeup. There's no makeup.
I know. Mario is Senior VP Investment Advisory at Allegiance Real Estate, here to talk about real estate and real estate related matters. I know, but there is a much more pressing and urgent matter because my guess is last night there was some mirth, merriment, and a great big dose of happiness.
Yes, a lot of mayhem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so Chelsea played Barcelona in the Champions League, and outside of the Premiership, where the rivalries are, Tottenham, Arsenal, and all the other London clubs, this is probably the biggest game. And I read somewhere that something like 750 million people were tuning in to watch the game last night. They weren't all at the BBC in Barsha Heights, I hasten to add, but certainly we were making a lot of noise, as Farage also alluded to.
So Liam Delap scored last night, which is a nice thing to see. But a 3-0 victory. That's impressive. I know it was at home, but still impressive.
It's still Barcelona. So what was also impressive that we actually scored 3 other goals as well, but they were all disallowed. So we actually scored 6 goals on the evening, and there was a double yellow card for their captain. So some will say it was an easier game because they were down to 10 men, but no, it's still Barcelona. So
well, if it's Barcelona, you could put 6 goals past them. I think that's an achievement. However you cut that up.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was an amazing night, and we're now sort of kind of in the box seat for the qualification. We're standing 4th in the table. The first 8 automatically qualify.
I love this. This is ingrained in your brain.
I think I should have been a sports presenter.
You should have been a Chelsea presenter.
Yeah. So no, very happy. And of course, when I got home, I couldn't sleep, so I was scrolling and looking at the back pages of the press in the UK and all the memes and everything, and just everybody was all going. And I was watching the ones that saying that Chelsea are going to get annihilated, just like they did before the PSG game before. One guy said, Chelsea's going to lose. Call me a fool if they win. And I looked at all the comments. Everyone was falling at about 5,000.
You got to be careful when you make statements like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. It's very impressive. I don't stay up watching football late anymore because I'm up earlier in the mornings these days. But last week, my wife was up watching the Scotland qualification for the World Cup.
Yes.
Which is a remarkable...
That was against Denmark, wasn't it?
It was Denmark, and it was just this incredible performance from Scotland. And she's up before me in the morning. She's a teacher. But she, like you, couldn't sleep. She's scrolling, she's watching all the post-match interviews, but there's something about it. It kind of takes you over that kind of tribal, this is my club, this is my country, whatever it is feeling. And it always interests me when you come in and there's been a Chelsea game on because there's an added kind of smile on your face. Do you know what
Listen, we don't always win, but, to beat Barcelona is one thing. Yes, we were at home, but it was an amazing night in Fulham, and I'm looking forward to the weekend because I'm actually going to be at the Arsenal game. So we've got the confidence. They're top of the league. We're only, we're 6 points behind. If we beat them, then we'll be 3 points. So it just makes it all nice and tight for the Christmas run-in.
A little early Christmas present if you
would be nice.
Get in. Who knows? Let's talk about real estate because that's what really you're here to do. That's your expertise, your other expertise. And the glasses are on.
These are my Chelsea glasses in honour for anybody that's watching.
Oh, man, that's why we get you back back in every week. So there's a report out, Mario. This is a Savills report. There's some detail here. Dubai has overtaken a major global city to become the world's top place for the global elite. Congratulations, I think. Good.
It's lovely. Yeah, this is a report that Dubai has been placed actually first amongst 30 cities worldwide for attracting high net worth individuals and surpassing other sort of powerhouse cities,
right.
Like New York and London. Dubai's rise reflects the Emirates' transformation into this global hub for wealth investment, and of course, as we all know, the lifestyle as well. Now, the main reasons for this is down to 4 factors. One is the favorable tax environment with no income, no capital gains tax, no inheritance taxes. Second thing is global connectivity. It's in a very strategic location, obviously, Dubai. I mean, I heard somewhere that sort of 3/4 of the world's major cities is all within like a 4-hour flying time.
Yeah.
The lifestyle appeal is obviously a major draw with specifically safety. Dubai and Abu Dhabi are 2 of the most safest cities in the world, and access to these world-class amenities. And then lastly, the family infrastructure. This is obviously second to none, having rapid growth in international schools and healthcare. So given the number of global investors and these wealthy individuals that are relocating, Dubai is actually expected to attract more family offices, luxury developers and investment funds, obviously reinforcing this status as the capital of opportunity within the region.
The other thing with this is, high net worth individuals come in, starting businesses. That means lots of less high net worth individuals come in, so the population growth keeps up.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole ecosystem, isn't it? It's very nice to have the millionaires come in, but it has to have everything else with it. And I think that's also why cities like London are suffering at the moment, because with Brexit some years ago, a lot of the European, dare I say, cheaper labour in restaurants, perhaps handymen, that kind of thing, all sort of disappeared. And now they're suffering for it, and I'm dreading the budget next week, to be honest with you.
We're going to be reporting on that here, I know. So look, next story. Let's move swiftly on to Property Finder. More stats, lots and lots of reports going out. There's no shortage, of course. The top 10 communities for the past month in both secondary and primary markets. And this is interesting, I think. Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, so for off-plan, there were 3 new entries into the top 10 that were not present in the September figures.
Right.
These are more the October figures. It was just last month. So we have Jebel Ali has come in at number 10. Number 9 is also a new entry. That's Al Barsha South 5. 8th is Al Barsha South 4. 7 is Trade Centre 2nd. 6 is Bukadra. Now that's an area definitely to keep an eye on. That's not far from the Maidan area.
Right.
5th is Dubai South. 4th is another new entry. That's Nad Al Shiba. 3rd is Palm Dira, or is actually more commonly known as Dubai Islands. 2nd is Business Bay. And moving up one place from September to number 1 is Dubai Investment Park.
Okay, so that's off plan. Any surprises in there? There's nothing that really stands out. It's just interesting to see, isn't it? You know what gets me above anything else, I have to say, is the number of locations and the distance between those locations. That we don't have this kind of freehold was one area anymore. It's spread everywhere.
It's definitely spreading out. For me, when I first started many moons ago, they were just known by their traditional names, and now, when Bukadra first came out, I thought, well, where's that? I've never even heard of it. And so you have all these Alayalis 1, and you have to really check on the map exactly where that is. Oh, yeah, that's down that road there. Oh, I didn't know that was called that. So you have to double check, but not really. I mean, Dubai Investment Park perhaps as number 1, I think, potentially could be a bit of a surprise, but then it's not far from sort of Expo, it's not far from the Dubai South area, or indeed sort of Jebel Ali area. So perhaps people are looking, that's an established area, it's a mixed-use area, which has obviously residential, commercial, and indeed industrial as well. But all these areas are going to benefit in the next few years when the blue line comes in as well, which we'll talk about later.
Okay, so let's look at the top secondary market communities. Do you want to break them down? I should have got like a old chart rundown music. Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. I missed a trick there. What's number 10, secondary market?
Okay, so number 10, it's a new entry. That's Wadi Al Safa 3. That's in Dubai land. Also a new entry at 9 is MBR City, Mohammed bin Rashid City. At 8, it's Business Bay. 7th, Wadi Al Safa 5. 6th is Jebel Ali. 5th, we have Nad Al Sheba. 4th is Dubai Marina. 3rd, Burj Khalifa District or downtown. Right. 2nd is Al Barsha South. And the top spot, Al Barsha South 4. And the top spot goes to Palm Jumeirah.
Surprisingly, I suppose. Wadi Al Safa, that whole kind of area, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's around Arabian Ranches 3, Sustainable City, that kind of area. Wadi Al Safa 7 is Al Waha, Serena. That area,
yeah, it's also not far from where Al Barari is,
yes,
and that kind of area. So where the IMG World of Adventures is, where Global Village is. In fact, that area is also very much up and coming.
Well, it is as well. There's a few developments.
Not Al Barari, that's obviously quite established now, but sort of around it.
Kind of behind that, as you head down towards sort of Global Village, that certainly is. Global Village going great guns as well. Hugely successful.
Do you know, I've never been to Global Village.
Oh, I'm
I've told you that before.
Really?
I don't know. I think it's more driven by the fact that it's never appealed to my wife, and so we've never gone.
Okay.
But she's in the UK, so I might sneak a visit. But I've been here 17 years, and I've never been. People say it's great for food, great for trinkets, great for the kids, obviously.
Yeah.
And you get your steps in.
You really do get your steps in, but there's so I can't tell you how many food offerings there are. But it's one of these things. I used to think years ago, what on earth, this should not work. And I say that under advisement because when I went, I realised, how it does work. It's very hard to put it into words because there is so much stuff. There are fun fairs, there are food things, there are stalls with, you could buy a great bowl to put hummus in, the Syrian stand, but it shouldn't work, but it really does work, and it's massive. You need to go.
I know, that's why I said you get your steps in.
It's not like it's going to rain.
No, absolutely.
I don't know where.
Still, I'm sure there's a stall that will sell umbrellas for you there.
Well, there probably is. Yeah, sunshades, parasols. If there's not, if you're listening from Global Village, you can have that idea for free.
There you go.
So, the other thing I wanted to talk to you, and I forgot this at the beginning here, we were talking about people being sick at work, you came out with what I can only describe as a revelation.
So off air, we were just talking about the fact that, I've been in real estate 41 years, and I found out actually that Tim has been in sort of radio, let's say, or DJing for 1 year longer. So I just thought I'd drop that one in.
DJing was I was at school, but to be fair,
so 42 years for you, and I was 41 years. Yeah. But I've never actually taken a voluntary day off sick in my entire career. So the other day, I went on to Google or ChatGPT just to see, if there is such a record. Now, Guinness World Records don't actually have a category for that as such. Well, according to the internet, they don't seem to find it. But
It'd be very hard to quantify.
Yeah, exactly, because the person could be lying. I mean, there'll be people saying, he's just saying that. I mean, just to clarify, I have been sick. Obviously, I'm not a robot, but sure. I've always come into work. Okay. Whenever we felt not 100%, you pull the duvet back and I could do with a day off. Yes, we all could, but I always get my sorry body straight in.
Why is that though? What is it? Are you taking supplements that we don't know about? Is it
don't get me started on that?
Yeah. I'm not going to now. I will. Or does that come from your, I don't know, is that a family thing?
It definitely is a mindset thing. Yeah. I feel that sort of in my line of business, I'm not an island. I'm there to support people. It's whether it's from the reels, whether it's from the information I give out, shows like this, and I feel that I'd be letting the other people down. So even if you're not feeling 100%, and I seem to get ill at the weekends. I mean, I was ill on Sunday. I did the run, the Dubai run, or I call it the Dubai Shuffle, because there's so many people you don't run. And I felt queasy. Obviously, I had stomach problems or whatever. But I got in at 10:30 in the morning after finishing. I went to bed. I slept for nearly 2 hours, then I got up, did my work, and then I went back to bed. And that's just not like me at all. And then come Monday, I was okay. So I always tend to ruin my weekends rather than work days. But no, it is a mind thing, and I've never taken that to extreme. So
And the only thing you have done is around COVID time, and in your defence, that's kind of a government directive that you weren't allowed to go to work. So that's
and
different.
even that, I was only ill, if you like, or didn't feel great for 2 days. I mean, my wife suffered badly when she got COVID. It was like 2 weeks, but mine was 2 days. But anyway, going back to the internet, I checked. There's a guy apparently who purports to have been working for 50 years and never taken a day off sick. And the second person was 36. So technically, if I'm to be believed, I'm like the second in the world. But who knows? There's probably hundreds and hundreds of others out there who's done the same.
I mean, I don't doubt you, but just think in 9 years' time, you could, overtake him, assuming he's retired. I mean, this crown, Mario, could be yours.
Well, who knows?
Yeah,
keep taking those vitamins.
We'll host the coronation on air here and put it on YouTube for you for free. Look, you touched on a few numbers for Dubai Land just now. Those are numbers that are going to grow. You kind of pointed towards Dubai Land, Wadi Al Safa, those Wadi Al Safa areas as being areas. Given the number of projects that have recently launched, and you're starting to see these crop up now, aren't you, as you drive down towards Global Village, just how popular is Dubai Land coming? Finally, because, we've talked about Dubai Land for 20-odd years. Really.
Yeah, no, I mean, Dubai Land, for me, was that structure. Do you remember that structure that sort of had Dubai Land on it?
There was an astronaut on it, and a car, and a roller coaster.
A guy on a motorbike.
Right.
So that was. I mean, originally it was supposed to be like a theme park, wasn't it?
That's right.
I guess so yes, it's always been sort of in the background, and it really is only in the last 5 years. So I mean, it's extremely popular now. In fact, from the period of 2019 to 2024, so that 5-year period. The Dubai Land has actually gone up by over 400%. So anybody that had, sort of units there or land there has seen tremendous growth. Now, this increase, I actually put it down to the population growth, which is actually projected to increase to 5.8 million by 2040. And of course, the area's infrastructure spending as well. It's got bold regulatory reforms, and the number of, as you just said, the projects that are launched in recent years is adding to this popularity. Because people are then looking for other areas to invest in.
Sure.
Rather than just the usual suspects, as it were. Now, Dubai Land is home to lots of building plots, and the price of land has obviously increased dramatically over the last few years. But it's very attractive for high-profile developers, and even attracting the largest developer in the UAE, which is Aldar from Abu Dhabi. Aldar is actually bigger than Emaar, at least I think I'm right in saying that. And they've got some big plots, villa plots and townhouse plots, and they're developing all that in Dubai Land.
I lived in Arabella for a few years,
Nice.
and that has expanded, and that's kind of encroached on all these different areas. So that whole kind of, there's a huge swathe of land which has been added to there. But it's that figure, 400%, and that's really kind of that area and a little bit further outside. It's actually 403.6%.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rounded it down, but yeah,
Sure.
403.6 it's a lot. Look, 5 years 1 year is a long time in Dubai. Yes. So when you look at sort of 5 years, that growth, yes, in any other city or place in the world would be, headline news rather than just a comment between friends, as it were. So no, it is huge, and a testimony to what Dubai is achieving, and that's also why these investors are coming here. The ones that want rapid growth, they're certainly getting it from the figures that are coming out.
Couple of questions coming in. There's no name on this one, and we'll go back to Barsha South, which you mentioned a little bit earlier on. I'm planning to buy in Barsha South, this person says. Okay. What's the one thing I should check about the developer to feel safe about my investment? I mean, due diligence, read? Yeah,
I mean, look, that question I think would be more pertinent years and years and years ago when, of course, the reputation of the developer, what they've finished, what they've delivered, would come into play.
Yeah.
Now, of course, all those things are still important today, but what has changed since I was first here in Dubai is the fact that we have the escrow law now. So no developer can start selling, unless they've got the escrow account set up, where the money then goes into the escrow and is not touched. I mean, when you think back prior to 2008, I mean, this will shock the listeners, and I've said it so many times. Forgive me if I have actually said this before. Developers were allowed to sell, let's say, an apartment in a tower that hadn't even begun construction yet, on a land that the developer didn't even own. So, of course, all land is owned by the government, so there is that side to it, but with no protection at that point. So when obviously the financial crash happened, no wonder developers sort of ran away with pretty much no redress if they weren't reachable, as it were. Whereas now, I mean, this listener doesn't really have to worry at all. There might be delays, procedural delays, but even a developer can be 12 months delayed without having any legal redress. Beyond that, I would always say check what the sale and purchase agreement says, the SPA, because it then gives the steps exactly what would happen if indeed the developer is delayed. Yesterday I was with a developer who prides himself, or themselves should I say, on delivering early. But I did mention that that also is a negative for some people, because you budget for the payment plan, and if now all of a sudden the actual project is early, you've got to cough up. But they said, no worries, we'll deliver it early. If you have the money, great, we'll take it. If you don't, it's okay. It's ready for you when you have the money as per the payment plan. So they covered that nicely. But yes, do your due diligence. Check out what the developer has done. Nowadays there are, in fact, I heard the other day there's well over 3,000 developers in Dubai, and that's a huge sum.
3,000?
Yes, 3,000. I mean, I thought there was enough real estate agents. I mean, they're probably into the sort of 70, 80, 100,000 real estate agencies. So what agencies are actually around 7,000, 8,000. But yeah, more than double of that.
That's staggering. Every time you come out with a stat, I'm staggered. You're going to like this, by the way. Carl here.
Oh.
Missed the last episode. I was out buying a gift for my girlfriend. She listened, told me I was mentioned. Carl says, Mario, I don't have a question, but nice glasses.
Yeah, these are the second coming of these ones, and it's all to do with Chelsea. My Chelsea blue glasses, outrageous as they are, I wore them for Carl. There you go.
Oh, Carl, I'm so pleased. Thank you for texting. Here's another question for you. I'm renting right now, and my landlord just raised my rent a lot. So I think when somebody says a lot, this is hurting. What's the maximum amount my landlord is legally allowed to increase the rent by, and what should I do if I think they've gone too high?
So, yeah, legally, a landlord can only raise a rent by a maximum of 20% per year. That's as per Decree 43 of 2013. Having said that, it is as per the Smart Rental Index that will determine how much rent the landlord can actually put up. So, and that's also determined about factors like the size of the property, where it is, but more importantly, they've introduced this grading system where buildings are now graded from 1-star to 5-star, depending on facilities, amenities, and quality of materials as well. It's all well and good when a building is brand new and shiny, but does it stand 50-degree heats? Over the years, are there cracks? This kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be, I mean, obviously this person doesn't talk about the actual amount. A lot is very undetermined. I mean, a lot to you might not be to me, and vice versa. But obviously, it must be hurting. So check the Smart Rental Index. You can put in your dates as to when your renewal is, and it will tell you by how much the landlord is legally entitled to raise the rent by. If however the amount is higher than what the Smart Index is stating, then she can go back to the landlord and say that's illegal and not allowed, and she can go to the rent committee if he insists. But there's one other point I want to just quickly add, is that irrespective of whatever the landlord wants, or indeed what the rent or the rental index states, if the landlord has not communicated a change in the contract at least 90 days prior to the expiry date, then no changes can happen anyway. So technically speaking, if he's given you 89 days notice and not 90, you could stand up and say that it doesn't matter, it's going to be the same as the year before. He won't like that, or they won't like that, and obviously that you might have to go to the rent committee. But as per the law, there has to be 90 days for any changes, not just rental increases.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because in theory, in that case, if a rent increase isn't communicated within that 90, at least 90 days, you effectively could go on the final day with your rent checks to the rent committee and place the checks with them, and they would renew it for you in theory.
Absolutely, yeah. And I know RERA used to have that system. I don't know whether they still do, but I'm sure that the rent committee will do it because that's as per the law, yeah.
Okay, another question for you. Let me just bring this up. This is Mamoon. With the high cost of living right now, not sure if I should keep renting or maybe finally try to buy. Mario, for someone who plans to stay in Dubai for at least 5 years, I said 2 years.
I said 3, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Good luck with that, Mamoon. We'll be talking to you in 22 years' time. But if you're going to stay for a while, what's the simple financial calculation or maybe rule of thumb I should use right now to decide? Is there, it's very much circumstance-based, but what would you say?
It is. Look, I have to say that, and this might sort of show me out as being someone... I won't describe it, but people have words for it. I've bought properties here myself.
Now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah,
I want to know what you're saying.
A charlatan, there you go. Coming on here, telling everybody buy properties, and I rent.
Yes, okay.
But I've bought properties here in Dubai. I've sold investments. I've sold, that kind of thing. But I've never bought to live in it because I always had the need for a bigger place, and I wanted to put my money in slightly different ways. So I feel okay that I can still come here and tell people to buy properties because I did do that.
No, that's fair. The thing is, your experience is 20 times more than most of us, let's face it. So it's perfectly legitimate. And, the fact is, you're pretty transparent about, the things, why you do the things you do.
So for me, I rented because it was always the flexibility. Yes, it gets better. I think every year gets better in the sense that legislation comes in and you're able to negotiate with your landlord perhaps better, and it also depends on the sort of business relationship that you have with the landlord. So I say that again tongue in cheek a little bit because I'm not sure, some landlords and tenants, they don't get on at all, and therefore it's a nightmare for them. However, I rented because of the flexibility. I would say have a strong look at your circumstances, and if you do feel that you are going to be here at least 3 years. So obviously this gentleman is saying 5 years. Then it does make sense to buy, especially if we look back over the last 5 years, how prices have increased. Therefore, the capital appreciation on all properties in Dubai. There's not one property that hasn't increased in value exponentially. So, but if you're buying to live in, that is the reason why you're buying. So, of course, it's an investment, and it always will be an investment, but it's a home first and foremost.
Yep.
And so if you're buying for that reason, in some respects, it doesn't matter whether you're buying in a rising market, a downward market, because you're buying for a roof over your head and that stability. And, of course, if you can afford it and you have a stable job and you're not sort of moving around too much, because that could have an effect on your mortgage finance once that's locked in, as it were. But yeah, it's a formula. There isn't necessarily a formula in my eyes. It's just work out your figures. Can you afford the 20% down payment if it's a secondary market property? Can you get that 80% loan to value? Shop around. There's talk of interest rates, potentially the Fed maybe dropping interest rates again. Who knows? If it does, then obviously the Central Bank of the UAE will follow suit. Literally, the person's got his finger on the button. The minute the Fed announce, he's pressed the button, and and they followed suit.
Historically, that's
So with things hopefully getting better on the sort of loan front potentially. If they're looking to buy an off-plan property, then check out the payment plan, obviously, but more importantly, can you afford the staged repayments? If you can't, then those are the investors that buy. When I say that you can't, I mean if they have no intention to get to the completion stage, and historically the value of the property increases the most. From the point of sale in an off-plan to when it's handed over. That's typically the growth cycle. Then, of course, if the market continues to rise, but it then follows into a secondary market sort of statistic. So I would definitely say if all of those things are in positive territory, don't hesitate, because you will look back and you will regret saying, yeah, I wish I'd pulled the trigger then, I wish I'd done that. But more importantly, once you've done it, don't overthink it. Don't keep looking and think, oh, maybe I should have bought this, maybe I should have bought that. If it's fit for purpose, if the location is right for you, if it's near to the schools, near to your work, if you like it, obviously, if it's the right size, if you're a growing family, you can grow within it, just do it. Don't, I have these buyers who every 5 minutes is saying, yeah, that's good. You've given them all the information. And then, sort of a day later, well, what about this one? And what about this one? And in the end, they just confuse themselves because there's so much availability. I mean, we're getting so many developers coming to the office wanting to do proposals, wanting to do presentations. As I said, we had one yesterday, and it's just mind-blowing, the information that some of these, or should I say all these off-plan brokers need to have. And half the time I don't even have the time to even sell these things, because they're forever going to these launches. I was telling you off air about the one in Abu Dhabi and how they're all entertainment centers now. It's gone are the days of the model. Now there's stars, there's Bollywood stars, there's actors, there's comedians, there's magicians, there's illusionists, there's all sorts coming to entertain the masses.
I love the story you came out with the other day. You were at a launch and out came Bryan Adams, as in Bryan Adams, the Canadian rock star.
Yes, and the reason I say he popped out is because it wasn't actually announced at all. It wasn't come to this launch and meet Bryan Adams. He just popped out, and he sang his best songs. Obviously, I'm a bit of an old timer, so I knew most of the songs. And
so he didn't just come out; he actually came out and played.
No, he was on stage.
Did like an
with
acoustic
the guitar.
set.
No, absolutely.
Oh,
he was booked by the developer. I'm trying to think who it was now.
Well, he was in town. They did a show. He did a show, didn't he? But this was obviously
I don't know whether it was
side hustle.
I don't know whether it was earlier this year. It may have been last year.
Okay.
My memory's a little bit fuzzy. I've only had 2.5 hours sleep. But so that was a weird thing. I was with, I know who it was. Yeah, it was Ellington. That's right. It was Ellington, because I was talking to the CEO, and he sort of gave me a little wink. He said, stick around. We've got a surprise for everyone. And then, as I say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage, Bryan Adams. I was thinking, oh my God.
Well, these are the things that may help you to stand out. So, I mean, more power to them, really.
Yeah.
Also, Bryan Adams, a famous Chelsea resident, and has been seen at Stamford Bridge.
Oh, that I didn't know. We got lots of stars. And Madness, of course, were in town last weekend.
Yes.
And they're big Chelsea fans as well.
Well, somebody has to be. So, there you go. Look, let's move on to... Oh, no, wait a minute. There's, I think there was another message just came up. Yes, there is. Hold on a second. So, Mamoon, hopefully that helped there, Mario's advice there. I'm not sure if this is related to the discussion, but hoping you can help me. My bank is advertising a really low interest rate, but I haven't done the pre-approval yet. If I rush and start viewing properties before getting pre-approved, what's the most common problem I'm going to run into that could cost me the apartment that this person's looking at?
Okay, well, I mean, the straight answer is you wouldn't go to, let's say, a mall without your phone, because you've got Apple Pay on it now and Google Pay, no doubt, or whatever. Okay. And you wouldn't leave without your wallet. Unless if you were intending to buy.
Unless you're my wife and you've lost it. But that's different.
That sounds like a conversation we need to have.
I'm going to get it in the neck later.
What I'm trying to say is that if you have every intention to want to buy, then get pre-approved.
Right.
If, however, this person is only interested to dip the toe in, have a look, get an understanding, then by all means go out and view properties to see if what you're hoping for is exactly out there or potentially could be out there. Also know exactly how much you can afford. So a conversation with either the relationship manager at the bank or indeed your mortgage broker to have an understanding what you could spend based on your deposit and savings and, of course, whatever loan, or indeed if you have the cash in the bank. So this person won't necessarily be taken seriously for sure by the owner. If they see something they want to make an offer, and they do state that they would be buying with a mortgage, the first question they will ask is, are you pre-approved? And so even if they do want to make an offer on a property, it won't be taken seriously because the owner will just turn around and say, look, once you're pre-approved, come back if it's still available. So rather than have that heartache of, going out potentially with no intention of buying there and then you see something, you fall in love with it, and then it's a mad rush to try and get pre-approval doesn't take too long anyway, but the idea really is to shop around. By all means, go to your bank. That's the first port of call you should do. Yeah. But then go to a mortgage broker and say, look, I've been with this bank for so many years. Is that the best one at the moment for mortgage finance? For years and years and years, my bank was rubbish for mortgage finance. And then all of a sudden, it decided it was a sector that it wanted to really press upon, and then became the number one, and has been for many, many years, as it were. So it comes and goes. It doesn't have to be your bank. Whatever's out there, shop around and don't give yourself grief. I mean, this story actually likens me. When I first got a dog, I went to my wife wanted to go to Battersea Dogs Home, right? To have a look at some dogs. I said, I don't want to go. And she goes, no, let's just go and have a look. Of course, you go there and you fall in love with lots of them, and you end up walking out with one. So if you've made the decision to buy, 100% get pre-approved. If you're just looking, it's fine without the pre-approval.
All right, then. There you go. So think of it as though you're, try not to be, too, I suppose, overzealous, but think of it in dog terms.
Yes.
There you are. In dog years, perhaps. Let's take a look at the new Blue Line Metro. You mentioned it right at the start of the show. What communities are going to benefit from the new Metro line? Who's going to win in this?
Well, I mean, we talked about Dubailand earlier, and I think the Blue Line is definitely going to improve the fortunes of Dubailand. But there's an area within Dubailand called DLRC, or Dubailand Residence Complex, and this is an area that you'll start to hear more and more about. Now, this previously sat just outside the city's core, with properties there offering obviously space, value, and access to some major road networks, as it were.
Yeah.
But with this Blue Line now sort of marching on, I think they're beyond 10% completed. This location is now one of the most closely watched mid-market communities, making it even more accessible, still affordable, and potentially with obviously future uplifts. So,
where is DLRC, Dubailand Residence Complex? I mean, geographically, where's near? Where's the landmark? Could you point to that?
Well, I mean, again, it's not far from where sort of Global Village and IMG is. It's that sort of central Dubailand area. Right. So yeah, it's there.
Okay. So the Blue Line, 14 stations, I think?
Yeah, it's going to link several stations. DLRC with Dubai Silicon Oasis, Academic City, Dubai Festival City, Dubai Creek Harbour, Business Bay, and DXB. Now, of course, when it opens and it's linked with DXB, I think DXB will have just 3, 4, 5 years left before it then goes to Maktoum International. But even so, DXB will not disappear. It'll still be an airport, but it'll be remains to be seen who's actually going to be flying from there, or whether it becomes a cargo one. But yeah, DXB is part of it as well. And of course, like I said, the key to these investors are the ones who get in early. So this area hasn't got it yet. And for sure, when the infrastructure is there, the uplift. It's a bit like me saying to you, go and buy in Ras Al Khaimah. I hear there's going to be a casino. Anybody that then got on board on the back of that is laughing all the way to the bank now. Whereas now, a lot of the meat is already on the bone. There's still meat to be added. There's going to be more casinos in Iraq. They've got it for 5 years. The infrastructure is there. In fact, the whole area. And what with flying taxis, you can get to Iraq in sort of 45 minutes or whatever it is, half an hour. Major roads are improving there too. So all I'm saying is there's always new things coming, but the majority of those first responders, as I call them, will be happy. And the rest are just licking their wounds, hoping that they did it earlier.
I like some of your phrases, Mario, I do. But at the moment, I mean, DLRC pretty reasonably priced. So, as you say, if there's a time to jump in, it's now.
I mean, it's currently sitting around 1,000 dirhams a foot. And when you think about how a lot of these developers are launching, for example, Dubai Islands, they're between 2,500 to even 3,000 a foot. So 1,000 dirhams a foot is really, really cheap. So you can imagine that when they will start to develop that further with new projects, that's where your uplift is going to be. And of course, for investors, the sort of rental yields there are between sort of 7% and 8% as well, which is kind of the norm for Dubai anyway. So yeah, even good for those that want to just hold on and rent out for the long term. So then you get rental yield as well as capital appreciation.
Okay, here's another question for you. And we were kind of almost on theme parks there for a moment, but we are going to be on theme parks now. I'm just looking ahead. When Disneyland opens in Abu Dhabi, do you think rent in nearby areas will increase? Think perhaps Mario's the expert. What should I do now to make me safe from the increase? I guess this person's renting now. I'm not. I imagine.
I was thinking. I don't understand the question, but well, buy would be my advice. Look, it is without a doubt. You've got a global brand. I mean, you don't get bigger than Disney.
No.
And with that comes Universal Studios, it comes all the bells and whistles, all the sort of the Marvel characters. I know obviously you do have Warner Brothers World there as well, but when Disney announced that they were coming to the UAE, which is their 7th resort outside of America, it's a game changer. It's a stamp in the credibility of the Emirates for a start. And I think for Abu Dhabi as well, when the Grand Prix was first launched in 2009, if I remember rightly, it's become the flagship. Apart from maybe Monte Carlo, is the season closer, and especially now this year that the actual championship is quite tight. So all these sort of facilities and amenities and amusements that you can go to will of course add to the entertainment factor of Yas. Now, Yas is an entertainment destination. You've got golf as well as the mall, and you have also concerts and everything there. So if this person is renting in Yas, he's going to have to pay a lot. So that's why I'm thinking, look, there's still a bit of time before they probably start to even start digging, as it were, and definitely be some years before it's actually finished. So I think that there's time. Save for that deposit and buy, and you won't look back.
Well, there's no name on this. This person writes back and says, whatever you say, I'm going to ask my landlord to write it in the next contract. I mean, I suppose, and I mean, that's, you laugh, don't you? But you could, in some cases, turn around and say, well, look, I'd like to stay for 3 years. What would you do me for 3 years? It's
no, absolutely. Look, whatever the law states is there in the main to protect the tenant.
Yeah.
So commercial leases, for example, are 3 years, 5 years. You have these hotel companies that take up residences in buildings for 10, 12, even up to 15 years at a time. So these are long-term businesses. There is nothing stopping a tenant from negotiating with a landlord for a fixed term of beyond the 1 year tenancy, let's put it that way. However, because rental rates have been rising over many years now, you're going to find it quite hard, unless you are, dare I say, perhaps even overpaying now, to factor in future years. It's a hedge, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is, yeah, exactly.
It could be in your benefit to have a 3-year lease, or actually it might not be. But then if it's not, assuming you have a get-out clause and a penalty clause to pay to get out, then you could just get out of it. So most landlords probably would not want to actually entertain that. They just want a 1 year's tenancy, which obviously is renewable. I get that, but they always have that flexibility of giving the 12 months notice, subject to 4 different reasons, assuming that the person is a good tenant and doesn't do all the other things that a landlord can also get you out on, apart from the 12 months notice.
So many variables. I wanted to talk to you about something. I know you've covered this on your podcast. The rise of American investors in the region was something we talked about, but to compare New York against Dubai. But time-wise, we've not got time to do that. So we'll save that for a couple of weeks' time, Mary, because I think that's quite interesting. But a couple of things this week. We'll just quickly look at this. Dubai land plot sells for 1.27 billion dirhams. Property deals, I was amazed at this. Property deals topping 6.2 billion in a day. That's the size of the market. And it's only then. I mean, there is a lot going on. I know that. I don't know where everything is. I can't keep up with it. Yeah. I'd say that. And I know you kind of echo those sentiments. And I feel so much better because you're in this market.
Yeah.
But it's figures like that make me realise how huge the opportunity is for developers and I guess for buyers as well. But 6.2 billion dirhams in a day.
I know that's a huge sum. And also the size of that plot is massive. I think it was 4 million square feet, if I remember rightly.
That's right.
So that's not a backyard. That's a mega project. Like a little city, as it were.
It was Yalayis 1.
Yeah, there we go.
According to
our famous area again, Yalayis.
That's right. Yeah, that was according to Dubai Rest. But I just thought that was worth mentioning because it really puts it in context, doesn't it?
But then you also have these record-breaking numbers as well. There was a penthouse recently as well that was sold for huge mega millions as well in dollars or dirhams. I can't even remember how much it was now in downtown. So the fact is that when those fall into those daily numbers as well, obviously they boost them.
Yeah.
But they're not a one-off. They're an occurring theme day in, day out.
That's exactly the thing. You think, that's going to be skewed by this, but actually, if you look at a graph, it's not that kind of spike there. It's reasonably steady. I don't know if you were referring to this. We've got a minute here. Dubai's
Solara.
luxury market. That's right, Solara Tower. Yeah. So that was 174 million dirhams. So that's just shy of $50 million.
I mean, it was a triplex. It's a development by Sol. It's amazing. However, still under construction. I mean,
It's just huge. But one thing we do know is it's in demand.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Mario Volpi is Senior VP for Investment Advisory at Allegiance Real Estate. Not here next week, I know that. You're going back to
London over the Eid holidays. So.
Is that just so you can wear blue clothing?
Yes.
Good.
And I will be going to the Arsenal game, so let's hope that our confidence kicks in and we clip their wings a bit for the sake of the whole of the Premier League table.
Knock them off the perch.
Well, unfortunately, they'll still be on top even if we win, but
at least
it will narrow the gap and it'll send a message out that they are beating.
Lob a few stones in that direction. That's the thing.
Let's not incite violence here.
That's never happened in football, is it?
Of course not.
No, of course not. Mario, always good to talk to you. Thank you
very much.
Appreciate it. Mario Volpi here at Mira Business FM.